Preseason 11 has brought on so many new builds, strong champions, and crazy ways to play the game. Today we'll be looking at one of those crazy ways to play with a new support pick that has popped up over the past patch, Twitch. Yes, you heard that correctly, it's Twitch support. Not only Twitch support, but AP Twitch support. We'll be going over why Twitch support can work now, his playstyle, power spikes, combos, tips and tricks, and the most optimal setup you should be running. If you're unaware of how this pick can even be viable as AP, we need to discuss the buffs Twitch received over the past few months. All the way back in 1018, AP Twitch saw its first buff. The AP ratio on his E damage was increased from 20% up to 33%. This change alone didn't really cause Twitch to see much traction as AP. It wasn't until the first preseason patch 1023 to where he got the changes that pushed AP over the edge. His passive received a buff, so it now has an AP ratio on it. It scales with 3% AP per stack of passive up to a max of 18% once you have 6 stacks. His W received an AP ratio buff as well. You now get 6% extra on the slow for every 100 AP. With all these changes combined, it has turned the Rat into a versatile champion that can be played with multiple different builds. So, now that you know why AP Twitch support works, let's discuss his playstyle. One of the main reasons to why this pick is so interesting is because he doesn't play like most traditional supports. Early on in the lane, you want to try to get the shove on the enemy bot lane. Pairing Twitch support with an ADC like Ashe, Jhin, or Tristana is really great because they have strong early shove which allows you to crash waves and constantly roam. Once the wave is under the enemy's tower, roam towards the mid lane to give your laner a really nice advantage early on. You can do this as early as level 2, but it's more optimal at level 3 where you have all your spells. From then on out, just rinse and repeat. You don't really pick Twitch support for laning power, you pick it to roam heavy and impact the map. You can, however, look to gank your own lane when coming back from a roam. If the enemy support or ADC overextends alone, then it's easy picking if you come in stealth. It's also really important to roam whenever you are coming off a reset. You should almost never head straight back down bot after basing. Look for a roam play up top or mid first. Once you hit level 6, you actually play for lane kills a little bit more. You have some pretty strong all-in threat in the 2v2. Get bush control and just zone the enemy laners with the threat of you popping out of stealth. When they walk up for the wave, you can stealth towards them and look for some poke with W and E. Repeating this will eventually lead to a kill. Once you get the enemy to half HP by poking, you can just go all in with ult and finish them off. Twitch support's first big spike is when he picks up Nashers. The item is just perfect for AP Twitch, providing him with lots of AP and attack speed to get your passive stacking fast, and allow your E to pop to a ton of damage. Add Hail of Blades in your rune page and your passive will be stacked almost instantly, giving you so much burst damage when you use E. You want to pick up a Magi's after Nashers on Twitch, which is a decent spike, but his second real big spike comes from his death cap completion. You don't even want to prioritize building a mythic item on Twitch support because getting as much AP as possible to make your E explode your opponents is what you want to do. Once you complete death cap, a fully stacked passive with an E proc can half health squishies with ease. Next, let's cover a few combos. Compared to most other supports, Twitch's combos are pretty straightforward. When laning early on, you want to throw W followed up with a few autos to stack your passive, and then pop your E. This is the most important and pretty basic combo you need to know. The more stacks of passive you get with Twitch, the more damage your E is gonna do. For every second the enemy sits in your W, you get a passive stack, and whenever you auto them, you get a stack too. Getting as many of these stacks off as possible before using your E is really important as it allows you to burst as hard as possible. This is why you want to lead with W and then follow with your Hail of Blade enhanced autos to stack that passive up quickly and then use E. When you're roaming or popping out of stealth, it's a bit different. You want to use Q first to come in stealth and then auto once first before throwing out W. This will maximize your ability to stack passive since you will throw W out when your auto is on cooldown, not wasting any time to stack that passive. Let's now move on to some tips and tricks. Early on in the laning phase, be sure to use your W when the enemy ADC is looking to go for last hits. Pay attention to when your minions get low, especially your cannon minion. And when the enemy ADC is just about to go for it, throw down your W. This will ensure you get at least 2 or 3 stacks of your passive off and will allow you to get some good poke off from your E. When roaming with Twitch, you want to path in such a way to avoid being seen on enemy wards. Picking up an early sweeper is key for this. and pathing in such a way that avoids potential ward spots is key as well. Since Twitch's Q gives him stealth, you can lane gank really easily with the champ. Instead of sitting in the river and then popping Q and ganking, you can stealth in behind your teammate's tower and then walk in straight from lane. This will make it so that you avoid being seen by any wards in the river prior to casting your Q stealth and give your ganks a much higher success rate. Later on in the game, be on the lookout for picks when the enemy moves up to try to farm mid-wave. If the enemy ADC moves up alone, then you can find some really easy picks for your team and transition that into objectives. This is one of Twitch support's biggest strengths. If you're not seen on the map, the enemy team has to respect you and won't be able to walk up for waves, which allows you to give your team a lot of added pressure. When teamfighting later on with Twitch support, it's all about finding those angles onto the enemy squishy targets. You want to be stealthing before the fight and looking for the perfect opportunity to come out of stealth and melt the enemy squishies down with your ult. Wait for when they split from their teammates and then pop out of stealth and melt them down with your ult. Finally, let's finish it off by running down the build. You're gonna want to start off with Spell Thieves as your starting item. The long range on your W allows you to get easy stacks early on and generate a lot of gold. When you're roaming, you'll also be able to proc Spell Thieves very easily. Mobies are gonna be your boots of choice. You're playing Twitch support with a heavy roam style, so you want to be grabbing these mobies as early as you can. The core build is pretty unique. You actually don't want to rush a mythic item. Instead, you want to rush a Nashor's Tooth into a Magi second and then Deathcap third. You can opt for Night Harvester after Nashor's, but for support Twitch, getting as much AP as possible is what you're aiming for, so it's better to just skip your mythic completely until your 4th item. It's good to grab an Oblivion Orb mid-game if the enemy team has a lot of healing, since you can apply it to everyone on the enemy team with your ult in fights. Situational items later on include Void Staff, Morelos, or Zonius. The best keystone rune for Twitch is Hail of Blades. Your goal is to get as many stacks of your passive off as quickly as possible to get maximum E damage, so Hail of Blades is the perfect rune for AP Twitch. Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collector, and Relentless Hunter will be the runes that follow in the domination tree. For your secondary page, take Presence of Mind to help with your mana issues, and Coup de Grace to give your passive more strength to finish off those low health targets on a sliver of HP. The rune stats you want to prioritize are Attack Speed, Adaptive Power, and Armor. Ability maxing is the exact same as what you run for AD Twitch. Max out your E first, Q second, and then W last. Alright everyone, there you have it. That's everything you'll need to know to get started on AP Twitch support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.